Hey everybody. Well, look, I don't really know who's going to click on this video. I don't know who needs to hear this, but clearly Daddy Jake has to speak up and say something. Conservatives in America, guess what? You are being lied to. You're being played. And none of this anti-woke grandstanding you call defending your rights will release you from the prison of your misunderstanding. It's time conservatives get the real wake-up call. America is a nation of people who think there is an invisible person in the sky. I share a nation with people who look up to serial slave rapists. I'm surrounded by people who believe this nation stands for freedom, opportunity, and diversity when it couldn't be more of the opposite. The American dream is least true in America when compared to our European counterparts, but no one ever talks about the Spanish dream or the English or German dream. These delusional people, our fellow Americans, think this country is the greatest place on earth, despite our S-hole nation scoring considerably low along all kinds of metrics, including education and literacy rates, scientific and political literacy, critical thinking skills, infant mortality, graduation rates, labor productivity, lifespan, maternity and paternity leave, healthcare costs. And just to really drive the point home, I'm going to put the UN vote to, whether or not they voted to have food registered as a human right. And you'll see that the only country to vote no, that food, something every single human being needs to survive, is not a human right. The only country that voted no, according to the greatest place on earth, is America. We are not the greatest place on earth. We aren't even a great place to be. We are a fascistic cesspool of idiocy, degeneracy, bigotry, oppression, exploitation, and more terrible things. Our nation's history is built on genocide, imperialism, violence, even sexual violence, exploitation, expropriation, suffering, patriarchy, white supremacy, and more systemic issues. There is little to nothing great about our country, and everything that could make it great has nothing to do with identifying as an American. Our legacy to people outside the country is war, famine, destruction, disease, stupidity, and more. Our legacy to people even inside our own country isn't joy and freedom. Our legacy to our own people is suffering and degradation, wage enslavement, financial insecurity, connection starvation, and so much more. These are not liberal gotcha talking points. This isn't commie propaganda, but if you need to tell yourself that because you're not strong enough to handle the truth, then, well, none of us is going to be surprised if you continue to do so. Conservatives, reactionaries, traditionalists, and everyone in between these categories are delusional to the core with the image the American masters has put forth. The perception of our great legacy is a lie, nothing more. So much of our history involves the absolute subjugation and suffering of others. These are indisputable facts, only dismissed by weak and dishonest people. When I say this, note I am not speaking of working people. I don't speak of the average person. I don't mean the drafted soldiers, the struggling small business employees, the day-to-day of working mothers, the woes of working fathers. No, I'm talking about the ruling elite. The billionaires, the capitalists, the imperialists, the playboys, the yacht owners, the child sex traffickers, the politicians, the monarchs, the tyrants, and every power-hungry person in between. I wish these conservatives could see how the rest of us all see you. Every person, from me, a semi-politically literate American Marxist, to a normie only involved in local liberal politics, to the average apolitical moderate, all of us see you conservatives as insane. Conservatives, how does it feel knowing leftism is on the rise? What's it like losing the ideological battle so effortlessly on our parts? It's so easy to us. Your figures and pundits like Milo Yiannopoulos, Steven Crowder, Candace Owens, Michael Knowles, Matt Walsh, Tomi Lahren, Ben Shapiro, Dave Rubin, and even the status quo enablers like Joe Rogan, have they not shown themselves to be scummy, spineless pieces of trash? Has Tucker Carlson, Sean Hannity, Bill O'Reilly, and other big-name Fox pundits, have these people not shown you how unworthy they are of having your trust? My fellow human beings, you're being lied to. Your thoughts, values, and actions are being manipulated and lied to get a reaction out of you, to get you to act this way. The capitalist powers that be are interested in creating this illusion to you, but this argument most likely won't appeal to you. You see yourselves as different. You think the rules don't apply to you. These conservatives think that when Chick-fil-A spends customer money on the abusive, heinous practice of gay conversion therapy, subsequently inducing all kinds of mental suffering, mental illness, and even suicide, they're free from that scrutiny. But none of them care about that, right? They might even be so inclined to think without morals and to think it's a good thing. But these same Republicans will be up in arms the moment a Starbucks cup says Happy Holidays. I'm sorry. You better pray to God the communists don't take over, because such infantile Karen energy won't last a day in a communist country. Friendly reminder, communism is basically direct democracy with less steps and better organization, even a bottom-up power structure. Tune in next time. But communist talking points are highly immune to the average American mind, and I won't be making this video a vessel for those ideas, at least not today. Trans children in America are being removed from their families. Trans people are losing their jobs, their livelihoods, because transphobes, people who are almost without a doubt terrified by the prospect of their own potential homosexuality or other different sexuality in the face of trans people fighting for their own rights, are throwing tantrums. How dare others ask for better? I'm enraged at the rising transphobia in America, and I'm growing more and more concerned a potential genocide could occur if this continues to persist. If you think I'm way out of my mind here, think again. Gay conversion therapy by itself is a kind of genocide, the barbaric pursuit of trying to subjugate, suppress, and even truly change a person's nature. Well, not truly, but try to change them. To shame them for who they are, to try to change their nature, but failing all the same. Trans people are just trying to exist. Even more fundamentally, they just want to live. They want a good life, just like you. They feel and think and hurt, just like you. Their struggles are enormous and challenging. They face extreme discrimination, and they wake up every day to be confronted by you. You conservatives who think wealthy, elite Jews are harvesting adrenochrome from children to live longer. You conservatives who think there's an invisible person in the sky, that you hide your fear of death behind the pledge of spiritual fascism for enslavement because you were just too afraid to think for yourself. Most, if not all, conservatives did not get their beliefs organically. The amount of men and women who got their opinions from their parents but call themselves conservative all the same, actually makes a lot of sense, knowing how little it takes for them to believe in fairy tale spiritual daddies in the sky. But how childish can one group of people be? What sickened, delusional mental toxicity must you be engaging in to believe such poisonous lies? The conservative tradition is a history of reaction, stagnation, and corrosion. It is built on the inability to understand that all things that are here now were once new, and to preserve anything in which it is seen in the eyes of its beholder is to freeze that thing in the stagnant present of a reactionary mind. Conservatives, you don't have the answers. You, your followers, and your ideology have proven to be useless, fragile, reactionary, and therefore lacking depth and analysis, emotionally toxic with little to no radical empathy, and so much more worse things. Time and time again, examining even the allegedly most powerful and solid conservative arguments, they all fail and falter in the face of basic scrutiny. The rest of everyone else, especially young people, have shown and proven they are more equipped to understand the nature of things, but also they've shown that they're much more interested in left ideas overall. Communism, socialism, anarchism, these ideologies are on the rise. They're thriving, glowing, growing. The communities with them both online and in real life are growing more too. Not only are these ideologies growing, but they have been suffering under extreme suppression and censorship for decades by the American empire and have persevered nevertheless. And what does the Republican Party have to offer instead? Revoked bodily control, market monopolies, bankrupt schools and hospitals, oppression of minority groups, forced compliance and obedience? The average person, the average American, is waking up to this conservative BS. The stronger ideas are winning, and they couldn't be less conservative. Now that this kind of sneering, at least some of the sneering, is done, if you're still here listening, you need to understand that our team, the leftist side, is willing to accept you into our ranks the moment you're willing to be open and listen. If you seek us out to ask questions, to learn, to see what's truly going on, you'll find that no one is interested in degrading or ostracizing you. Everyone is only interested in including you and keeping up the strength of the cause. No Marxist, no leftist at all is interested in harassing and bullying former conservatives. In fact, more often than not, you see our community welcoming outsiders with open arms, giving validation and support and helping right away. Yes, teasing exists, but we are all only focused on the struggle because that's who we are. That's what it means to be a leftist. Che Guevara once said, at the risk of seeming ridiculous, let me say that the true revolutionary is guided by a great feeling of love. It is impossible to think of a genuine revolutionary lacking this quality. And that's what I think. That's what it means to be revolutionary, to be filled with such a great sense of love for others and yourself that you're willing to fight for it, to fight not just for your own betterment, but for the betterment, liberty, and justice for us all. But is that the same for you, conservatives? Where's the love in turning away immigrants, taking away the rights of women, keeping low wages, unhealthy living standards? How is any of this filled with love? When have your conservative figures truly shown compassion? Where is the love in Grab Her by the Pussy? What about Let's Go Brandon? What about Lock Her Up? What about America First? Excuse me again. A literal white supremacist former slogan. Where is the true love in the phrase Blue Lives Matter or All Lives Matter, like those phrases aren't direct reactions to another group's struggle for equality? There is no love in conservatism. You don't care about all the people, no matter how much your appropriated Christian aesthetics tell you so. Hiding behind morality, the people who thought they knew what they were talking about, these people have proven that they were clueless the whole time. I can tell you for certain, trans people are not the problem. I can tell you for certain Black Lives Matter, Antifa, and the woke left aren't the problem. And to the extent that you conservatives are the problem, I'd like to point out that if you join the left, you'll find that you were never the problem all along. You will find that your leftist cousins believe that the wealthy elite control everything, but it's not about liberals or Jewish people. Like, what the? Jewish people? It's the rich capitalists, politicians, and tyrants pulling the strings. You will find that your leftist brothers and sisters both feel your outrage and fury, but also care for everyone as you do too, deep down. You'll see that communists, socialists, anarchists, that all leftists are not only informed, are not only well-meaning and compassionate, but you'll find that we truly care about you. We care that you're mistaken. We care for your terrible pay at work, your disconnection and alienation you feel from your job, your family, and your friends. We care about your struggling payments, your hustling to work hard, your pursuit for freedom and stability. We care about the homeless, veterans, teachers, artists, blue and white collar workers, even everyone outside our country, people we have never met, people we will never know. We care about all ages, all groups, people of all abilities, people of all backgrounds. People of all kinds are included in our struggle. We have taken the moral and found a way to translate it through logic and language to make it political. Leftists have discovered a vivid discourse to talk about our problems, to really get to the bottom of what's going on. But all of that is rooted in the fundamental value of being open-hearted and open-minded. So conservatives, what do you have to say? Thank you to anyone watching. Take care, and I hope I see you in the next one. Let me know what you think. Feel free to like and subscribe, comment below, and I hope wish peace and love to everyone watching. And thanks again. Take care.